Hey everyone, today I'll be reviewing the Q Computer MidTower Deluxe Black Max Edition.
The Q Computer MidTower Deluxe Special Black Max Edition is a system that is not really oriented for high-end performance, but is good for small games, good for Google Earth, good for internet browsing, that sort of stuff. It's my parents' system, and the majority of the time they're using this thing to sell stuff on eBay and browse the internet, watch YouTube videos, some Google Earth every now and then, that kind of stuff. This system is based on the Socket 939 platform. The motherboard is a Foxconn WinFast NF4UK8AA motherboard, which a lot of times these motherboards, which I've had the same problem myself with this board, when you have Windows XP installed, Windows XP and this motherboard do not get along. Windows XP crashes blue screen about 3 to 5 times a day on this system. So, way back in March of last year, or this year I should say, we upgraded, May I should say, we upgraded to Windows Vista. And Windows Vista runs a whole lot better on the system. No crashing, no that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'll move on. This system has 2 GB of DDR400 memory. It has an ATI Radeon HD 2400 Pro graphics with 512 MB of memory. It has an AMD Athlon 64 3400 plus 2.2 GHz overclock to 2.64. And it has a 160 GB hard drive, SATA hard drive, DB-ROM drive, and CD burner, and card reader. It has, for cooling, it has 80mm fan on the side, 2 80s in the back, 2 80s in the front to cool the hard drives, and the combination of how I run the fans on this thing keeps it nice and cool and quiet. And to show you a little bit about the Windows Experience Index for this computer, it scores a 3.6, which the lowest subscore is the graphics. This is a 64-bit operating system. Alright, here's our scores. 4.3 for the CPU, which when this CPU is at normal clock speed, it only gets a 4.1. And the RAM right now is getting a 4.8, which originally for the RAM at normal clock speeds, I believe this gets a 4.3. Which actually the RAM is not overclocked, but the CPU is, and of course the CPU has your memory controller. So the RAM went up big time. The graphics gets a 3.6, and the game graphics gets a 3.9. Hard disk speed gets a 5.3. So as you see, you don't have to have Windows 7 to get your high scores on this computer. Which some people think Vista will be really laggish on this kind of configuration. Actually, it's not. It's actually really fast. This computer actually outruns the MidTower Deluxe on starting up, believe it or not. Don't know why. This is the thing about Vista. When you have like 2 gigs of RAM, an older configuration, it boots faster. But anyway, just a quick overview of the scores. I'll get a little more detail about this thing. It has a 500 watt Dynapower power supply. I like to call it the cherry red power supply. It has a shiny red coat of paint on it. It has a UV sleeved 24-pin connector. And a little more information about the CPU. The cooler, I am using a stock cooler for an AMD Phenom 2 X4905E CPU. This processor usually, this system overclocks. It usually runs about 29 degrees at idle, and the mid to upper 40s at max load. And when you're running Prime 95 and it's pretty warm in the room, you'll see low to mid 50s on the CPU temperature, low mid 50s Celsius. But overall, it's a decent system for internet browsing, that kind of stuff. It can't keep up with the MidTower Deluxe, but it's still a great system for what it's used for. There you have it. That's the Cube Computer MidTower Deluxe Black Max Edition, Build A.